Hello, 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 and welcome. I am Kimbaley. I'm the host of the Manifest on Purpose show, where I inspire others just like you to manifest on purpose. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now, in the beginning of January, we discussed the numerology predictions for you and your zodiac sign for the month of January. As we are quickly approaching February, I'm sure you would like to know what February 2024 has in store for you and your zodiac sign. No worries, I've got your back. Today, it is an honor and a pleasure to have my esteemed guest to let you know exactly what you can expect in February for your zodiac sign. Please help me welcome world-renowned Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn. Hello, Lloyd, and welcome back. How are you?
Fine, thank you, and thanks for having me back. Can't wait to let you know what is up for the signs for February of 2024.
Before we even get into that, I want to know, how was your January?
My January was interesting. Now I have to think about it. I think it was pretty good. It was about making some changes, and so things seem to fit pretty much. That is, and especially the last week coming in where I had to bring some things to a close or put some things to an end or cut back on bills or expenses. So everything pretty much worked out. How did it go for Leos?
Oh, for January. My January is exactly as you said it was going to be. I feel like it was slow coming in, as you said. And after a couple of weeks, things started to get better. During those slow weeks, I took that time to do as you advised us.
Mm-hmm.
I did some reflection and I wrote some notes down to prepare for when things would start opening up. I did also do some travel, so I feel that the January forecast that you gave for Leo was very accurate for me. And I want to know from the viewers, how was January for you and your zodiac sign? Leave a comment to let us know how January went for you. And also, so we can do a little research, let us know if you're using your sun sign, your ascendant sign, or if you're using your moon, so that we can know what you're using and how accurate it is for you. We're approaching February, Lloyd. What's up for February? February is the month that leap year occurs. And if I'm not mistaken, we're having a leap year this year. Can you tell us a little bit about the leap year and what we can expect with leap year falling in this February?
Well, overall, February will be in a one universal year. How did I do it? I simply added the second calendar month to 2024. It added to a 10 or a 1. So universal means all of us are going to get a sense of starting fresh, starting new, starting all over again. The signs that will be more predominant will be more the signs of Leo first, Aquarians, then Aries. They will predominate, but all of the signs will have their own different perspectives. Now, each month numerically is ruled by a number, and the month of February is ruled by the month of the 4. Now, people will say, okay, so what does that mean? Well, in a general way, 4 represents anything that's always odd and unusual, out of the ordinary. Well, what makes February out of the ordinary, you might say? Well, of all the 12 months, February is the shortest month, okay? Only 28 days. And then this year, there's a leap year, which means it comes every 4 years. And this particular February is February the 29th. As in Chinese astrology, the Chinese astrology always starts in the new moon in the sign of Aquarius. And this year we've been in the year of the dragon. So for those dragonettes and dragons and stuff like that, this is going to be a good time. But that's for everybody. But each of the zodiac signs will have their own specificity that we'll get into. You ask great questions.
Thank you. So I have another one for you, right?
Get out of here.
I, I always wanted to be born on leap year because they have a choice of what birthday they can use. If someone came to you that was born on a leap day or leap year, however you want to call it, what do you think the best day is for them to choose to celebrate on?
That is a great question. And let me tell you why. Because I've met some people born on the 29th of February. The question I pose to them is, are you celebrate your birthday on the 28th, or do you celebrate your birthday on March the 1st? Either way, they're number one. So let's say a person says, well, I'm born on the 29th, but I got to wait every 4 years. But in between those 3 years I'm waiting, I celebrate my birthday on the 28th. Well, numerically, 2 plus 8 equals 10, and 1 plus 0 equals 1. Then I got another set of people that says, I celebrate my birthday on March the 1st. Well, to me, if I had a choice, I would suggest that they would celebrate it on March the 1st. Because, see, when you get past 9 and get into the double numbers, each of these double numbers, 10, 11, 12, et cetera, have their own specific meaning. Well, the 28, that compound number, which means it's composed of more than just one number, is called the divorce number. It is called the number of contradiction. And people think it's divorce going down the aisle of marriage. No, it means divorce from your monies. And normally there are 3 concerns that bring about this divorce. One is you're honest with people, which is the nature of a number one, but people aren't always honest with them. So the example I always give is, let's say little Susie is one to talk to Johnny, and she tell, Janie to go there and put in a good word for her. Janie will go talk to Johnny and don't even bring her name up in the conversation. All right. The second one is who you put your trust in. Now, let's say a person born on the 28th is getting some advice and they want the best advice, but they found out that the guy's day job is fixing TV sets all day long. Well, that might work for his cousin, but it ain't going to work for you. So people that are born on the 28th basically is to their advantage to go get the most expert of the persons, like myself, for example, in what I do. The third one is never allow people born on the 28th to push documents under your nose and say, just sign right here. When I was in insurance, they had this phrase, the large words added and the small words take it away. But everybody knows that. What does a lawyer say? You got to read the fine print. Okay. So if I had a choice between those that are born on the 28th, the 29th of the month, I would tell them preferably I would select March 1st as the day to celebrate their birthday rather than March 28th. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody born on February the 28th is a divorce in that sense. But it does mean anyone born on the 28th of any month, no matter what, should always be careful who they confide in, who they put their trust in, who they put their confidence in. And they should always, as long as they're seeking advice. Now, if they're seeking advice for what kind of, color to paint the room and all that stuff, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about if they seeking advice about something of a life or death situation or a decision that has consequences on the end, they should seek the most expertise person there is about that which they're looking for. And the third thing is make sure you read what you sign. Just to say, just sign right here. You know what everybody does is the 28. When you're downloading on the computer and they run all these, this whole about 2 or 3 pages of all these things, everybody just goes to accept. Okay. They don't know what they signed on. Okay. So we all do 28, to be honest with you. Okay. Because I don't want to tell them no, because I can't use the program. All right. So we just go right ahead and sign the darn thing.
You know what? That's so true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
what I'm
true.
saying. Yeah, yeah. But
I
if we
didn't
read it, we
expect to
didn't,
hear it that way,
yeah,
but
but if
it's
we read it, we just said, "What? Oh no!" But we're people in a rush, instant gratification, just add water. And, like if you ever read some of these things, you got to sign for the software. I'll own your mother. I'll own your car later on. I mean, yeah, okay. It's like that. It's like that. So we all accept it because we know that if we ain't accepted, we ain't going any further. Am I lying? That's all I'm saying.
true. I think I signed something today. I agreed to something today.
I signed many things that I says, okay, okay, I agree. And then we wonder
So
why legally we get in so much trouble. Okay. So,
you
so you
look
do
for a
have to
knock
read the
on the
Bible.
door.
Huh?
You'll find a knock on the door.
Yes, every time, you know, and especially when they have this thing that ignorance is no excuse for the law.
It's true.
Well, and then a lot of people don't want to read. A lot of people can't read. So when you put all that together, a whole lot of people is in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, enough of that.
What about February universally? What can we expect?
Well, universally, it's a one because how you determine it is I took 2024, added two, which represents the second month of February, and it comes out 2026. And two plus zero plus two plus six equals 10, and one plus zero is one. So this particular month of February of 2024 is for all of us to make the attempt to be or step out on faith. Now, here's the interesting thing about a one. Let's say you have a person in a codependent relationship, depending on somebody for the resources, depending on somebody for the emotions or love. Well, when you're in a one universal year or personal year or whatever year cycle you end with a one, if you haven't learned the lessons of standing in your own, you're gonna have to learn how to stand on your own. That person you've been depending on is like, as I'll tell a person, you on a train and you got to know what stop to get off at. But if you're not paying attention, you get off at their stop. Well, their stop may not be your stop. And then how do you get back? So that's what this is.
Okay, what about the zodiac signs?
If you are in Aries, or I should say, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Aries for February, it means that this is the time that you carve out the direction you wish to take over the next 29 days. It means that you stay charged. And Aries does that anyway, because almost no matter where you go, all of the zodiac signs starts with Aries, which is number one. Well, they're going to be feeling themselves, or as my mother used to say, smelling themselves for the month of February. Let there be no question. Okay. However, the very first day of February says you got to be careful because the moon will be in your opposition sign of Libra. So that tells me somewhere around the first Monday or the first or the second, give or take, just be patient, be diplomatic. And, Aries are not known to be diplomatic. They just kind of get right to the chase. However, it's going to be in that week of the week of the 8th through the 14th, where things are going to be opening up and expanding. And what's happening is in between that week, around the 13th and the 14th, when the moon is in their sign, they can look to take charge and do things on a very grand scale. They're going to broaden their networking, things of that nature, to take themselves to the next level. And they should always get in touch with those who know somebody in that way. However, it's after that, going into the latter half of the month, where they're going to have to hit the brakes. They're going to have to tone it down. They're going to have to take it easy and take a waste not, want not, lend not, borrow not approach to the things they're doing. So, in other words, it's about being more efficient. Okay. But the last week is going to be a little challenging too, especially when it comes to travel during the week of the 27th and the 28th. All right. So it tells me somewhere around that last Wednesday, or give or take the 23rd, 24th, but somewhere around the 27th and 28th, when the moon is back in the opposition sign of Libra, they're going to have to be a little careful. So double check everything, double check your plans, just don't assume things like that. So that's what should work for Aries. Now, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Taurus, this is going to be a month where it says you need to search your soul. This is going to be a month where it says it ain't about being beautiful, gorgeous, alluring, attractive. It means to go within, because Taurus is one of the signs of beauty. The men are good looking, the women are gorgeous, so to speak. But this particular month for Taurus people says you got to go within, not without. You know, it's like a beautiful woman that you see physically, but it's like looking at an iceberg, right? I mean, that's a poor illustration, but here's my point. That it is the iceberg underneath the surface that wrecks the ships, not the one on the surface. Okay. So therefore, it is very important that you go down the rabbit hole when you're dealing with people, especially in the opening weeks, because during the 2nd and the 3rd of February, the moon will be in the opposition sign of Scorpio, and they'll be in a money week. So it means you got to be careful, since Scorpio rules emotions. They're going to have to make sure, because Taurus is an earth sign, that they're going to have to be a little bit more diplomatic, especially in the 2nd and the 3rd day of the opening days of February. However, there's travel indications indicated somewhere around the 8th going into the 2nd week, that you can either make a long distance trip, or somebody from afar might visit you, or you can begin to cut your losses, where you wake up and say, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need that. You look at somebody and says, you know what? I don't think I need you either. And you out of here. So that's what I'm looking at. However, going into the latter half of the week from the 15th to the 21st, especially on the 15th and the 16th, when the sun is finally in your sign of Taurus, that's when you break out. That's when you take charge. That's when you top dog. And that's when you want things to go your way. And can't nobody be more stubborn than a Taurus, which is the bull. Not personal. I'm just saying that's how it goes. And then it's toward the latter part of, or the last week, that it tends to indicate that you got to be a little diplomatic. So don't be smelling yourself thinking that's going to be the way it is from the latter half to the end of it, because around the 22nd to the end of the month, it indicates just be more diplomatic, be sweet. You know, it's when you know how when people want something, they just so nice to you. They make it irresistible. You know they want something. It's just what they want. Well, Tauruses need to use that effect. But in the last Monday, around the 29th, when the moon is back in the opposition sign again of Scorpio for Tauruses, they got to be a little diplomatic, and they got to just take their time and be patient. Now, Geminis, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Gemini, this is the month to fall in love or fall out of love, all depending on how things is working in your behalf, okay? So I put it like this. Door number 1, if you're entering February, Gemini, and you don't have anybody, there's a good chance you just may meet somebody before the month is over. Door number 2, let's say you dealing with somebody, right? And right now it's working, and you listen to the conversation, it sounds like it want to go to the next level, like, let's date more exclusively. That's door number 2. Door number 3, everybody knows. If you've entered February with somebody that's been working your nerves, I already know where it's going by the end of the month, okay? You don't even have to be no astrologer, numerologist, or read the tarot cards to see where that's going, all right? So here's what's happening. In the opening week of February, for all Geminis, it says take it easy, especially around the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, when the moon is in the opposition sign of Sagittarius. So it means to be not in a rush, to take your time, not worry too much, because worry will actually make things bigger or more imaginative than what it was. It's so interesting, the power of the imagination. You're worrying about this, worrying about that, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So Gemini is in that first week. Now it's in the second week, because of the week of the 8th through the 14th, that Geminis will be in a pregnancy week. I know people don't know how to spell the word pregnant, or commitment week. But what it means is this: symbolically for Geminis, it'll give you a time between the 8th through the 14th, or around that second Saturday in the month to begin to give birth to an idea, a plan, an enterprise, a project, an endeavor, a goal, or an objective. That is the point of it in February for them. But as you go into the third week, when the moon is in your sign on the 17th and the 18th, especially in that third week, it gives you a time to kind of pursue your dreams, to, as they say, manifest on purpose some of the things you've been wanting to do. It also gives you time to close things out, to phase things out that is no longer in your best interest, because in the latter week, it indicates that now you got a chance to make a fresh start and really take your life in the direction as you end the month of February. Now, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Cancer, this is your month to have fun in the sun. This is your month to be busy. As a rule, this month of February for all Cancer is going to give you the chance to mix and mingle, to rub shoulders with people, to meet people that can help you to the next level. Although it may not appear that way the first week, especially around the 7th and the 8th. You say, well, Lloyd said this month's going to be good, but right now things is kind of stressful or challenging. But this too will pass. And it simply means only because the moon will be in the sign of Capricorn around the 7th and the 8th, which is your opposition sign. But over and above that, you start off the month having a blueprint, having a plan of action, what you plan to do. However, going into the second week, that's when you get a chance to breathe. That's when you get a chance to get some fresh air and be more flexible and more fluid in your comings and goings and the things you want. And there are also going to be a lot of opportunities coming in that week, especially around the second Wednesday, or somewhere just as you go into the 14th, as you go into the latter half of the month. Now, around the third week, that's your romance and finance cycle right there. I can tell you that right there from the 15th to the 16th, especially when the sun is in your sign on the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. That's all I'm saying. So not only that, but you ladies, if y'all want to do your hair a little bit, lose a pound or two, you feeling your oats and stuff like that, that makes all the sense in the world. But in the latter half, going into the 22nd to the end, is going to give you a chance to get away. And since Cancer is a water sign, this would be perfect to go somewhere where there's the sand, the sea, and the sun, to chill, to just get away from the cold, the frosty weather, all the drama, and breathe and take in the sun and breathe in the sea air and all those other things that make you feel vibrant about yourself. And the rule is don't chase, but more attract what you want. Now, let's say your sun, your moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Leo, which happens to be one of my best signs. Most of my best people are in the sign of Leo. I can't help it. No, they can't help it, but you know what I'm saying? What that means is this. Leos, as a rule, are very dynamic. They are your leaders. They are your pioneers. They are your futurists. However, for Leos this month, they're going to have to take a back seat for several reasons. First of all, the energy tells you to take your time and be patient. But astrologically, for Leos, this is the lowest point in the cycle. It's like that bell curve. So for all Leos, it ain't just any Leo. All the Leos will be going through it, but there's going to be a little difference too. But what happens is, Leos are going to break out the box in the very early stages during the first week. There's going to be an opportunity to do something. If there's been some legal matters or semi-legal matters, that's going to be resolved successfully in their favor. It's the week of the second week from the 8th through the 14th, especially around the 9th and the 10th, when the moon is in the sign of Aquarius. So the sun will be in the sign of Aquarius, the moon will be in the sign of Aquarius, and this is the time where you got to slow it down. It does indicate some health concerns, and especially with the moods, the way you're thinking, the way things are working. So cut back on TV, cut back on negativity, who shot John in the newspapers and all that stuff. Just kind of stay positive and be around positive people. You'll find that around the third week from the 15th to the 21st, as you begin to go into the latter half of the month, that it's going to give you a chance to take some travel, to go away for a couple of days, to get away and to hear yourself think and just do something totally different. But there are also going to be opportunities too that you need to take advantage of. So it's about keeping your eyes and ears open. It's as you go into the latter week that there's going to be some adjustments you're going to have to make, especially in the 22nd and the 23rd, when the moon is in your is in your sign of Leo. So actually, you're not going to do too bad with the moon in your sign during that time of the 23rd, 2nd and 23rd. But what it simply means is going to give you an opportunity to look and dress your best, smell your best, act your best, and things like that. And you'll find that you get what you want, especially if you're wearing the color blue during that particular week. Okay. Now, let's say if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Virgo, guess what? This is a time for you to get it together in terms of your lifestyle, your education, your relationships, your physical well-being. So for the ladies in Virgo, more than likely, y'all been thinking about fooling around with your hair some kind of way. Also for the men, you might think about that stomach is getting out there more than it needs to. I need to flatten it and begin to change diet, because Virgo is the health sign anyway. Virgo is always about nutrition. So, and by the way, for Virgos, and because they love to learn, this would be an excellent month for you to take a course, online course, retreat, seminar, workshop. Do something of that level, especially in the first week, because that's when you go through that period where you be very receptive and you're searching for things and you're going beneath the surface of things to look for what you want. Also, however, as you go into the second week with money, be careful with the money, especially around the 11th and the 12th when the moon is in your opposition sign of Pisces. Okay. You know, Pisces can sometimes be the sign of illusions and delusions. You know what I'm saying? So don't let you know what it says, where things is too good to be true, it might be. So during the 11th and the 12th in particular in that week. So around the second Saturday or somewhere around the 8th, but definitely when the sun enters your opposition sign on the 11th and 12th, it just means be a little careful committing yourself financially and things of that nature. It also means somebody from the past may be a pain in the you know what too. So you got to be a little careful too. However, going into the latter half of the week, it gives you a chance to grow. It gives you a chance to really take things to another level, to begin to think about, I need to get out of the city and out of the country, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Also, it's going to be a period where things that you've been wanting to do, things that have been put on the back burner, now has a way of manifesting themselves, where now you want to make them real. Now you want to make it come true. But in the latter part of the week, the latter part of the month, excuse me, especially around the 24th, 25th, 26th, when the moon is finally in your zodiac sign, Virgo, that's when you take the initiative. That's when you be proactive. That's when you kind of knock down doors and insist on, this is what I want for me. And that's how that's going to be. So look for it in the last Sunday or somewhere around the 28th, give or take, right after that period when the moon has just passed your sign. Now, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Libra, well, Librans, you get what you want, not by chasing what you want, but magnetizing it to you. That's going to be the secret of what you want in this cycle for February. Now, first of all, February is complementary to Libra because they're both ruled by the element of air. But in this case, it means you got to go within. You got to question why you do the things you do. You got to really go down the rabbit hole of life and not just take things superficially. Okay. You got to go deep. And this is when, in fact, most Librans are either going to find that they're going to want to get readings. Maybe you're going to start going back to church. Some become born again Christians, but they're going to be looking at life totally different. And so what happens is this month for Librans is considered, I consider it the law of attraction, that whatever you're thinking, that's what you will get. So with that being the case, especially with as you open up the week dealing with money issues. So somebody once told me that I thought it was a genius when they told me that if you're chasing after something, maybe it's trying to run away from you. So Librans, don't chase after money in the first week. Just don't. Just magnetize it to you. So if you walk around saying, as you open up February, I ain't got no money, probably by the end of February, you won't have a penny more than what you got. So think first and let go and let God bring it to you, especially in that first week. You'll find that, especially in the second week, you got to be careful of confrontations. You got to be careful to stay away from people who want to argue, fuss, and fight, especially around the 13th and the 14th, or that second Tuesday in the month, when the moon is in your opposition sign of Aries. Okay, and Aries is a very martial or assertive sign anyway, and with you being at a low, don't let people trap you into arguments and confrontations. Ride that out. Say, you know what? You better be glad I listened to Strayhorn, because boy, I'd have gave you a whipping. Okay? Little things like that. So this is what I'm saying. However, going into the latter half of the week, it allows you to then come out on the back end a little bit more independent, a little bit more self-reliant, a little bit more confident about the way you're going to take the balance of the month of February out. You'll find that an Aries or Leo may get involved in helping you to a degree, but it's about making choices that benefit you and you alone. It's not what your folks want, your kids want, the pets want, the dogs, anything. It's about what you want for yourself, Libra. If you don't get that together during that third week, from the 15th to the 21st, then I don't know what to tell you. But in the latter week, when the moon is in your sign on the 27th and the 28th in the sign of Libra, and you're going through that cycle where you're receptive and whatnot, you should use the charming effect. Just be sweet, just be irresistible. Again, you know, when people want something, they're so nice to you. Well, you turn that button on, you turn on the charm button, and you can get more bees with honey. Okay. And especially around the last Monday, it's also around the 29th too, specifically around the 28th and the 29th, when the moon is in your sign of Libra. Scorpios, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the fixed sign of Scorpio, let me tell you what you want to do. You want to make sure that everything you do is in your best interest. Everybody is during that time is likely to accuse you this month of being very selfish. To a degree, they won't be too far off, because your attitude, if I can't get my house in order, I can't get nobody's house in order. And that's how that's going to be. So it indicates, especially in the second and the third week, the second and the third of the month, when the moon is in your sign during the second and third day of February, that's when you should really take advantage of getting started and doing things. You use the gift of persuasion, use the gift of patience and understanding and kindness and consideration. That will be the secret to unlocking the opening days of February for you. Now, in the third week from the 8th to the 14th is about fun, big fun. So if you're the kind of Scorpio, especially born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, that like to have big fun, well, let me tell you, the 8th through the 14th was written all just for you. And you're going to find that you'll be going through a prosperity time. You'll be going through a time where things are going to be opening up for you, and you're going to be seeing the fruits of your labor. So take advantage. However, if you were afflicted, so to speak, it could be that you got to be careful of people throwing dirt or put a little scandal on your name. And don't be messing with a Scorpio when you're trying to put scandal on the name. Now it's going into the second half of the month, especially around the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th, where you're going to have to be a little careful of health concerns, be a little staying within the limits and the boundaries of things, and putting your shoulders to the wheel. And so where the second week is fun, this week is like you hit the brakes. It's all of a sudden like you're doing 100 miles an hour, then all of a sudden you hit it down to 25. Well, that's what's going to happen. But it simply means take your time, make sure you have a foundation, a blueprint, an idea or a plan or itinerary of how you're going to take that third week, especially around the 15th and the 16th, when the moon is in your opposition sign, okay, of the moon's in the opposition sign of Taurus, by the way. As you go into the latter half of the month, that's going to give you a chance to do some traveling, short trips. It's going to give you an opportunity to make and take advantage of things and get your name and your reputation out there too. And whatever changes you want to make, that's going to be a perfect time for you. Now, Sagittarius, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Sagittarius, you know you are the fun sign. But the month of February says you got to be serious. Or are you serious? Stop playing. Okay. This year is about, or the month of February is about making sure you hit the ground running with some kind of idea where you're going, some direction. You know what I'm saying? Not just a helter-skelter fashion, but making sure that you have a way of knowing that if plan A is not working, you got plan B or even plan C as a backup to get you to where you're going, because that's going to be a very, very interesting time for you. especially in the opening days of February on the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, when the sun is literally sitting in your sign, Sagittarius. Okay? So it's the kind of week that if you put in the effort, you're going to get back the results, especially when the moon is in your sign during that 3-day cycle. As you go into the second week, with the kind of cycle you're in, it means pay attention to your health, and especially you brothers, especially you men. We men, we think that when we get sick, we want to call on the Most High. They come out the heavens to kind of wave the magic wand. And you know what I'm saying? Women, we need to learn something from y'all. The slightest thing is off, y'all going to see about it, okay? A little bump, a little bruise, whatever, y'all going to go check it out. So what I'm saying is, since Sagittarius will be going through a kind of a health or adjustment cycle during that second week, the men especially should make sure they get in and just get a general checkup. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you be safe than sorry later on. Also, it also indicates that there are going to be some adjustments around the home too, moving things around or stuff like that. It's during the third week, going into the second half of the month of February, that it says you need to take it easy, especially around the 17th and the 18th, when the moon is in the sign of Gemini, and especially monitoring your thoughts, because you're going to be in a period where thoughts are things, and don't let the imagination get the best of you with worry, things like that. And then when you get past that point of worry and look back, it was no big deal. But it simply means to also, you might be going through a period of night sweat during that period also, but just take it easy. Don't let nobody rush you, and make sure you ask lots of questions. However, as you go into the final week of February, you're going to be, especially around that last Saturday or somewhere around the 26th, it does indicate some kind of money coming your way, or somebody from the past that you haven't seen in a New York minute. Now, I'm in New York. That's why I said New York minute. But the point is, whatever state you're in, whatever New York minute that is, okay? And also, you find you're going to be going through a lot of maturity things too, where you're going to be growing up and becoming more philosophical as you bring the month of February to a close. Now, if your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Capricorn, well, this is going to be a period for February. I know we just left your sign last week, but now we in the Aquarian season. But it says that you need to begin to wrap things up. You need to let bygones be bygones. You need to let water under the bridge go. Okay. So especially if there's anything you're holding on to that's negative, toxic, non-productive, and it simply means to take it easy, to not be too insistent, okay? Because it does indicate you're going to want to get off to a good start, but it's always around just as you get a little past the second week, going into the second week, where you then got to also change up your approach of how you're doing things. So instead of being assertive, you be sweet and just open to, receptive to, be patient and have a way of understanding what's going on. It's going to be in the third week from the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, that it does indicate around that third Thursday, and definitely around the 21st, that you're going to have to be a little careful of saying something that your mouth can't cash, okay? That's going to be very important. So words are going to be very, very important, and you may have to be very careful of somebody trying to imply about your name or throwing shade on your name. But as you go into the final week of the month, it finds that you'll be in a much better position to kind of make sure that everything is more structured and organized the way you want, since your sign is an earth ruled by the element of earth, and the earth like to be pragmatic, where you can't get more pragmatic than that going into the last week of the month. Now, let's say your sun or your moon or your ascendant is in the sign of Aquarius, okay? First of all, this is Aquarius season, all right? So all you Aquarians, if you feel like getting your Aquarius on, you're right. It's also going to be the year of the dragon. The new moon in Chinese astrology always starts in the new moon in the sign of Aquarius. In this case, the new moon will begin on the 9th and the 10th of this month. So we're not there yet, Aquarius. We got to get in the first week. The first week says you got to make some adjustments. Yes, you're going to want to make some changes. Yes, you're going to want to do some traveling, especially of a short trip nature of a couple of days or two. Yes, you're going to be taking advantage of opportunities, but it means you need to take advantage of opportunities around your home, around your personal well-being, around your lifestyle, and not be and making sure that you make sure all these ducks are in a raw order and in a row. So when you move, but it's going to be that second week where you're really going to be daydreaming about everywhere but where you are in the moment. Somewhere that's sunny, somewhere that's beautiful, somewhere where there's a sea breeze, somewhere where I don't need none of this drama, confusion, or nonsense. As long as I'm out of here. Well, that's in the second week, and especially again when the moon is sitting in your sign, the new moon. So the sun will be in Aquarius, the moon will be in Aquarius on the 9th and the 10th. So if you really feeling it, you know what I'm saying? That makes all the sense in the world. But don't chase rather than magnetize by seeing things on the mental screen of your mind. It's in the third week, going into the second half, that now you can deal and focus on little financial situations, stabilizing things, making sure bills are paid, making sure needs are taken care of more than what wants are. That's very, very important. And as you close out the month of your birthday cycle of February, it simply means that now you got to be a little careful of rushing into things, because the cycle you're in says there's Mars is going to be aspecting your chart that will bring about some affliction, arguments, confrontations, nicks, cuts, burns, bruises, especially when traveling. Just be careful. Don't let impulse get the best of you. And Aquarians can be really impulsive sometimes. They don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. So this is not the time to use that approach going into the final week, especially when the sun is sitting in your opposition sign of Leo on the 22nd and the 23rd of the month. All righty. Take your time and slow it down while you're driving too. Thank you. And saving the best for last. I know you Pisces says, yo, it's about time you done got to me, but your season is coming up next month. So we'll take care of that. This month of February says the work you put in will be the benefit of what you receive next month. You got to make that effort. You got to get your grind on. You got to put in the work. Is it worth it? Oh, heck yeah. Especially in the first week, because it'll tell me that there's going to be a swivel where you're going to make a paradigm shift for the way you're doing things. It's going to take you to a whole nother level. So you're going to open up the week of February saying, should I go this way? Should I go that way? Should I go forward? Should I back up a bit? Because going into the second week, when the sun is sitting in your sign on the 11th and 12th, that's when you're going to have a very interesting thing, not only dealing with relationship, but the opportunity to make some adjustments that's in your favor. You ladies, more than likely, you're going to be thinking about tweaking your hair in a certain kind of way, things like that. But if you've been wanting to lose a pound or two, or get back in the gym, or spruce up your home, or your workplace, or just your personal appearance altogether, that is going to be the best time. Now, for Pisces, I know we're getting close to it, but in the latter half, it says you need to get away for a couple of days, if possible, to go somewhere where you can think, where you hear yourself think, to, follow, what is this strange dream I'm having? What is all that about? Because Pisces is the sign of dreamers anyway. So I would expect that to be even more pronounced around the third Monday or somewhere around the 16th of the month. You might wake up and say, what was that about? Now, as you go into the latter part of February, the moon is going to be in your opposition sign of Virgo during the 24th, 25th, and 26th. So that means you're going to have to be a little bit careful about how you're dealing with your finances. Pay your bills, okay? Don't say, oh, I got some extra money and also pay yourself first too. That will be the golden rule throughout the entire month. Pay yourself first. You get a little extra money, you chip some of the side, and you make sure you do that for yourself. That's how I see it. And it also indicates someone from your past that you haven't seen or heard from may come into the mix as well. But as long as you know that the 24th, 25th, 26th, you take it easy because the moon will be opposing your sign directly. Don't worry, right around the corner is your time to have your fun in the sun in the season of Pisces.
Wow, that was fascinating. I just love to see how you run it down so quick and you're so detailed with it. One of my questions is, when is Leo ever going to have a good month?
Well, they're going to have a good month soon, especially next month, because
Oh,
they're going to be going through a Jupiter cycle. They're going to be
okay.
going through a fun cycle. So March
Oh,
is
oh
going to be
boy.
very entertaining for them.
Okay. I was just wondering because I was about to switch to my ascendant.
Don't you worry. The beauty about the cosmos is everybody gets a turn. They just have to be patient. But if you're patient long enough, you will get your just desserts. So that's why, thanks to this concept that I've developed on your show exclusively on Manifest on Purpose, I'm now specific about when the moon is in your opposition sign, but more importantly, when the moon is in your sign, to take advantage of those precious days or dates that you got, so you can take advantage and be in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe. So I enjoy
That's
this.
so important. And it makes it easy for us to plan. And speaking of planning, can you tell us a little bit about the Star 8 numerology app?
The Star 8 Numerology app is one of my babies. In fact, for years, I would always do at the beginning of the year everybody's calendar. And I do it where I mark green for go, red for no or slow. And what happens is I finally got an opportunity in the fall of 2022, and it became a reality in 2023, where I now have a numerology app that you can download and do the same. So not only will it list your birthday and your name, but it will always create a unique calendar that you can always plot. Like tomorrow for me is a triple red star day. I ain't gonna do nothing serious anyway. You know what I'm saying? Life changing, earth checking. I wouldn't put all my money in invest in a project, because we've got days that are better for us than others, and that's what my app is designed to do. So you can be in harmony with yourself. So it is called a Star 8, ASTAR 8, the number 8. You can download it either on Android or Apple, or better yet, if you're having any problems, for safety reasons, go to a star8.com, ASTAR, the number 8.com, and download it from there. And by the way, you can get a chance to see what the features are before you download it into your phone. But you're going to find it very useful. Please go at the bottom of the screen to linktr.ee/numbersanyou, where you can sign up for my online class, join me on TikTok, see my show on YouTube every Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 8 live and whatnot, my audiobook, my podcast.
Thank you so much. So everybody make sure that you go out. You have to check out this app. This is one of the ways that I plan for things in my life, by looking at this calendar, because if I have a 3 red star day, I'm like you, I'm not doing anything. So whenever I have something important to do, whenever I want to plan something, I always check the app first. So you should check it out, a Star 8.com, or you can get it on Google Play or the App Store. And I want to say thank you, Lloyd, for sponsoring the Manifest on Purpose show. Thank
Yep.
you for creating this new concept just for us right here.
Yeah, this is an exclusive. If you want to get more specificity, this is where you must come each and every month.
Any closing words before we close out?
The God in me loves the God in you.
Thank you so much. Until next time, I'll see you in March, Lloyd.
Can't wait. Can't wait.